live from Augusta. We're watching News 1226 at 11.
Ahead of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, people visiting his home in Atlanta will not have the full experience. Why? Later tonight. But first, as the war continues to rage in Gaza, meteorologist Emily Acton, what can we expect heading into the work week?
Craig, I hope that you have all of your winter gear on standby because we're gonna need it this week. Definitely a jacket, gloves, hat. I gotta go buy myself a hat personally. Anyways, it's gonna get cold right now. Still pretty cold out there. We're already seeing those temperatures dipping close to freezing. Some spots a little bit warmer, sitting in those low 40s, but overall cold conditions for the overnight hours, which is typical. So not anything too crazy there to start off. Our Monday will be a couple of degrees above freezing, but still very cold out there. Plenty of sunshine though in the afternoon. That'll help us warm up to right around 60 for the afternoon highs. But once we get into the middle of the week, that's when temperatures are really going to start to drop. So there's going to be a couple of days this week where we're going to see temperatures in the teens. Feels like going to be even colder than that. So make sure that this is a big heads up. You need to prepare those pets, plants, pipes, things like that. Be sure, because that's going to come midweek and then even next weekend, Craig. But I'll have that all broken down coming up.
Thanks for the heads up, Emily. Members of the historic Augusta, Oregon, 2 people lost their lives after a fire tore through Portland Church. Firefighters say they got a call from a homeowner today reporting the fire had spread to their house from that church. Part of the church collapsed, forcing crews to leave the building. Investigators stayed at the scene after it was out to try and determine how it started. Witness to the fire described what he heard.
You know, I woke up to kind of like explosions maybe sound, or like gunshots or fireworks or something like that. And, you know, I kind of ran outside. I was kind of freaked out, you know, and I kind of peeked through the window and all I saw was just a giant like ball of fire in the sky.
Fire and rescue officials were still mopping up hotspots into the evening. 4 people are dead and a 5th is severely injured after a hot air balloon crashed in central Arizona. The balloon hit the ground this morning in a desert. The mayor of the city where it crashed said 13 people were in the balloon, including 8 skydivers, 4 passengers, and the pilot. Officials say the skydivers made their jumps before the crash. The mayor spoke about his sadness at the scene.
You go up on a Sunday morning just to feel the breeze, the coldness on your face, and expecting to see your friends skydive out of a hot air balloon, which is not uncommon. And then we have a situation like this. And so that's a sad part.
1 person died at the scene, 3 others at the hospital. The National Transportation Safety Board and FAA are investigating this crash. And coming up, today marks 100 days of the Israel-Hamas war.
You can see a lot of light. Your cars are out there actually hydroplaning. I think it's a dangerous situation.
Mama?
She's on her way, bud.
Hey, hon. It's nasty out there.
Yeah, I'm glad you're home.
Stay safe.
I will. Tell them to save me some. When others head in, we head out. Dominion Energy.
Israeli Prime Mech here stateside. A man suffered serious injuries after crashing a plane in North Carolina today. It happened near Lake Norman Air Park, just west of Mooresville. Officials say the 62-year-old pilot, Peter Grinnell of Tega Cay, South Carolina, was trying to land the plane when he hit several trees and crashed into the front of a home. No other injuries were reported, and the FAA is investigating the crash. People in North Texas are preparing for a cold blast of winter weather headed their way. Some crammed into grocery stores to stock up on food and water. Those that waited found some store shelves empty. The National Weather Service says the best way to prepare for extreme weather is to get ready before it comes. 2 people spoke while they were out shopping.
We're stocking up on food because of this Arctic weather coming in. Don't know how long it's going to last. Bunch of water. Bunch of canned goods, things that will last us.
How was it in there, tell us?
Oh, it was horrible. The shelves are empty.
The Weather Service recommends having at least 1 gallon of water per person for 3 days when preparing for these emergencies. We'll have more on News 12 at 11 after this.
You know, you
You've got it pretty good. Streaming this much stuff was never this easy. Nice eye thingies.
They're collagen boosters.
Get internet on the Xfinity 10G network made for streaming for $20 a month for 12 months. And Add Now TV for $20. It's the best value in live TV and streaming.
You guys like this show too?
Yes, chef!
Get way more into what you're into when you stream on the Xfinity 10G network.
It's bow time.
Two new movies shook up the weekend box office. David Daniel has early estimates on the top 5 films in theaters for Friday through Sunday.
Everything okay back there?
Migration flew down to 5th place on $6.2 million in ticket sales. Anyone But You moved up to 4th, grossing $6.9 million for a domestic total of $56 million. Wonka fell from 1st to 3rd, earning another $8.4 million for a domestic total of $179 million. The Beekeeper, the new Jason Statham action flick, opened in 2nd place with $16.8 million.
We as women have to be able to support each other.
Get in, loser.
20 years after the original hit theaters, the new Mean Girls, based on the Broadway musical, debuted #1, taking in $28 million. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Now taking things over to Emily Acton. Emily, we're hearing about all this Arctic weather. What can we expect for the CSRA? I can see a little light blue hitting our area there.
Yeah, we're definitely starting to drop off temperature-wise. We're sitting a couple of degrees above freezing, and we're kind of the lucky ones here in the U.S. I mean, I guess depending on if you like cold weather or not. A lot of us, or a lot of the United States, sitting in the teens, maybe even single digits or negative. So again, we're the warmer spot in the United States, sitting at 34 right now. So cold overnight for us, but that's not the only thing that we're dealing with here in the Southeast. We have a stationary front, so again, it's really not moving all too much over really the next 12-ish hours or so, but that's kind of stalling out this heavy snowfall over the Tennessee Valley, northern Alabama, over into parts of North Mississippi. So they're getting a lot of snowfall at the moment, pretty heavy and pretty consistent. Thankfully, I say thankfully, I know a lot of people are like, oh, come on, bring the snow. We're not going to get any snow here in the CSRA. By the time that cold front starts to finally push through, and that moisture is going to be behind it, it's going to be too warm for us here. So we're just going to see some rainfall throughout the morning and afternoon Tuesday, but we're going to be well above freezing. So we're not even having any concerns of ice, snow, nothing like that. We are going to be a lot warmer by the time that moisture moves through. So again, overnight tonight, things are going to be calm and dry. I know you saw a little bit of green there, but we're going to be dry throughout the overnight hours. Sunny for part of the day tomorrow. Going to have a few breaks in some light overcast clouds out there. So still going to be able to have the sun out. That's going to help us warm up into those upper 50s, low 60s. But here's Tuesday morning at 1 a.m. That's when that front has finally started to drop down, and we're seeing some of that rain associated with it. But again, you can see temperatures in the middle 40s, so well above freezing for those overnight lows. And by the time that rain moves through, again, things are going to be, it's going to be warm. But once the rain moves through, I should step back and say that once the rain gets out of our hair, that's when we're going to dip below freezing. So very cold mornings in store for us. Definitely need to make sure that you bundle up if you bird watcher out there. I don't know if the birds are really going to be out with this cold weather, Craig, starting off in the 40s overnight, but we'll reach those upper 50s, low 60s by tomorrow afternoon. But check out Wednesday, Thursday, and even Saturday and Sunday mornings. We have some really cold mornings in store for us, Craig.
Keeping the jacket nearby. Thanks for the important heads up, Emily. As we head to break, here's a live look at Las Vegas and your winning lottery numbers.
The rooms to go.
Hey.
First Alert Radar, powered by Jim Hudson Automotive Group. On your sideline, sports brought to you by the Hawk Law Group.
All
right, we're getting into the thick of SEC play to know where South Carolina women's basketball is going. It's all about acknowledging where they've been. There were only 2 losses during South Carolina's 2021-2022 season. It was that year where USC last dropped a regular season game in overtime to Missouri, then to the Wildcats in the SEC championship game later on that same season. While USC went 3 for 3 in last year's contest against the two, both teams didn't make it easy. Kentucky is 8-9 with 2 straight losses entering Monday night. The Wildcats face 3 ranked opponents this season, losing all 3 games by a combined score of 253 to 169. But they're still sneaky, leaving the Gamecocks to be on their toes come Monday night.
They're going to force us to stop them. If not, they'll continue to drive the ball down our throats. They rebound the ball well. They kept a lot of pressure. And it's a rival game for us, so we take nothing for granted. When it comes to playing Kentucky, we prep, like they were going to throw everything at us.
After Sunday play, South Carolina is the only undefeated team left in the SEC. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. The SEC road doesn't get easier on the men's side. They narrowly escaped Missouri over the weekend after a blowout loss against Alabama earlier in the week. The Gamecocks turned the ball over 16 times in the OT win, shot 40% from the field, 29% outside the arc. Not only did they win the glass, but they're starting to win Columbia.
It's about time for us to just continue to pour in to his program, because nobody believed he was the right choice. Not a whole lot of people believe he was the right choice. Didn't have the type of season they wanted to have last year, but year 2, to have a year 2 the way he's having a year 2, we need to jump on board quickly.
Coach Paris getting some major backing there. This season, the men's program is 7-1 in games decided by 7 points or fewer. All right, on over to the Falcons. They interviewed Ravens defensive coordinator Mike McDonald. The 36-year-old has spent the last 2 seasons under John Harbaugh in Baltimore as his DC. They also interviewed Ravens assistant head coach Anthony Weaver. During the regular season, Baltimore's defense was ranked number 1 in the NFL in points allowed. The Dirty Birds are also going after Panthers defensive coordinator Ivero, Bengals offensive coordinator Brian Callahan, and 49ers DC Stephen Wilkes got a call this weekend. The Falcons will have some competition when it comes to Ivero. He also interviewed for the head gig in his current stomping grounds in Carolina. The interim head coach, Chris Tabor, was also in the mix. So is McDonald. The team also completed an interview with Ravens offensive coordinator Todd Monken.
Well, we did not have any measurable rainfall today, so expecting some rain, though, on Tuesday for us. But I'm going to send things over to Studio B for a quick check on Law Call.
Well, thanks so much, Sean Merzlak and Neil Gordon here. And real quick, it's the new year, and we're going to talk about some things we need to know.
Absolutely. New year, new laws, some old laws, some things you need to do, and a new member of the Hawk Law Group.
I love
to
it.
introduce y'all
You
to.
can't miss it. Just give us a call if you'd like to ask us anything, really, at 844-706-1212. We'll be right back.
Well, a decent start to our week, starting off Martin Luther King Day. That's when we're going to see the best weather for us. High around 62, lows not terrible, right around freezing for us to start off our Monday. But showers move in Tuesday, but we're going to be well above the freezing mark, so not having any winter issues there. But we are going to cool off significantly after that. We're going to see lows in the 20s and even teens start off our Thursday. And afternoon highs really not rebounding too much for us. But next weekend, that's what I'm really pinpointing, that bitter cold. I mean, we're going to start off at 25 Saturday, only warm up into those lower 40s. And then we're going to drop back down into those upper teens and not warm back up for our Sunday. So we got a cold weekend next weekend. So we really need to enjoy tomorrow, Craig.
Alrighty, thanks for that heads up, Emily, and thank y'all for sticking around here on News 12 at 11. I'm Craig Allison, but stick around for Law Call coming up right after this.